Good morning, everyone. This is Elizabeth Cooper. Can everybody out there hear me? Somebody send me a message and let me know. Okay, good deal. Okay, y'all bear with me here for a minute. Like I said, my name is Elizabeth Cooper. I am an assistant purchasing director. I am also the director of surplus property. What we're going to do today is just give you an orientation of to the Federal Surplus Property Program, federal and state. I'm going to let you know how it works, and I'm going to let you know what the benefits are to your organization. What you can do is, as we go through this, if you have any questions, I'm going to try to monitor here on the side, and I will be glad to stop and answer any of your questions as we go. And I will also stop at the end to make sure that we ask if anybody else has any questions. So, like I said, go ahead and talk to me. I've never done this before. I'm doing this from home. So when you guys interact with me, it helps me a little bit because I know that you're out there and that you hear me. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start off by asking, what kind of organization you're with. If you want to, you don't have to. But if you want to send it out there to all participants, it kind of gives me an idea of who my audience is so that I know how to address you specifically. So let's go ahead and get started here. Like I said, this is an orientation to the state and federal property programs. A lot of people are familiar with the state side of what we do, but they're not real familiar with the federal, so hopefully I can let you know how both sides work today. Good. Okay, I see we have a city on here, so that helps me, community action. Okay. Well, just to let you know what surplus property is, for those that aren't familiar with us, we're the agency responsible for disposing of the state's assets. So basically what that means is that unless an organization is exempt from us, and there are some organizations that are, some agencies, for example, higher education, they're exempt from us, and the Division of Highways, they're exempt from us. However, even though they're exempt from us and they don't have to use us, sometimes they do. So sometimes we do get their surplus property, and when we do, then we sell it just like we do for any other organization. We are located at 2700 Charles Avenue in Dunbar. If you're not familiar with that, we're directly across from Ben Franklin, and we're across the tracks from Dunbar Middle School. We're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, and excluding state holidays, of course. Now, the way that we do our pricing is we base everything on fair market value. And to be honest with you, sometimes we get some really unique items that are a little bit hard to price, but my warehouse supervisor, actually, he has been promoted. He's my supervisor over both the warehouse and the vehicle section. That is Matt Harper, and he is amazing when it comes to pricing. He actually can just about rattle off prices in his brain. And when you ask him a question, he stores it all up there in his brain. But we also do extensive research if we're not sure about how we should price something. We use things like online auctions. We actually have an online auction called Gov Deals, and I'll talk to you about that here in a little bit. But they're also really good at letting us know what items are going for. So that's how we base our pricing, is just on research. We offer public sales, online sales. We do have the eligible organization program, which is what we're talking about today. And then we also have the federal surplus property program. Now, as far as public sales go, just to let you guys know, you can all come down there and you can shop as a representative of your eligible organization, but you can also come in and shop as a member of the public. We price everything just like you're going to Walmart or anybody else. When you come in, there's going to be a little sticker on there, and it's going to show you what the price is. The only individuals that cannot shop at surplus property as a member of the public is anybody that works for the state purchasing division. If you work for any other state agency, you can come down and you can shop. Like I said, we do have online auctions. Right now, we're using Gov Deals. We have a lot of luck with them. They have a huge audience out there. They have a lot of bidders. That's why we choose to go with them. is because we can really get your the items out there. We can get it all over the United States or even out of the country. We have bidders from everywhere. To let you know who can purchase as an eligible organization, of course, state agencies can, county commissions, Board of Education, municipalities, the parks commissions, other nonprofits. Now, as of right now, what our code says is that you have to have a 501c3 in order to be an eligible organization. If you are a fire department, you can have a C3 or you can have a C4. Now, at some point, we may look into changing that. I know the federal government has changed it just to say that you have a 501c. So if you see that out there and you don't understand why we're asking for a 3 or a 4, it's because that's the way it's listed in the state code as of right now. Now, at some point, like I said, I think that I'm going to look into changing that. But as all of you all know, that does take time. But there is a difference between the state program and the federal program. Also, to update you guys a little bit, because I know a lot of you don't just have one job, maybe you have two. If you do have a business of your own, you can get property through the 8A program, and that is for minority-owned businesses. You have to register through the Small Business Administration, but if you want to do that and you want to be registered as an 8A organization, you can actually have the same benefits as a lot of the agencies that you see listed there on the screen. The other thing that we have, which is pretty exciting, is that there was an act passed, it's actually been a while ago, it's been last year sometime. It will allow veteran-owned businesses to get property. Now, we're working with GSA, which is the General Services Administration of the federal government, and the Small Business Administration to get all those rules and everything in order. But once we do, veterans will be able to get property just the same as anybody that you see listed here. Now, if you are a veterans organization right now and you have a 501, then you may be eligible for property anyway. What I'm talking about specifically is veteran-owned businesses. They will be able to get property. Also, and to be honest, we're going to find out more about this today, but just kind of give you a heads up, the RISE Act was passed, I believe it was in 2015. It was a few years back, but what it does is it allows organizations, small businesses, to get federal property when a federal disaster has been declared. So, like I said, we're going to get some more information on that, and as I know more, I will pass it on. We will put it on our website. I actually have a conference call this afternoon to address that. But there, just to let you know, if anybody has a small business that they own, then you may be able to get federal property once we get a little bit more direction. And like I said, I will get that out there on the website as soon as I get more information on that. Probably, I don't know if I'll get it out there this week. Like I said, my conference call is today. Hopefully I can get something posted by next week once I get some clarification on the rules. We've never really had anything like COVID, as you guys know. So we've never been able to really use this act around here in this state. So I need to figure out exactly what we need to do to get that property out there. Okay, the type of inventory. Okay, this is what you're going to see if you come down there and you shop at Surplus Property. We have vehicles, we have office furniture, anything at all that a state employee can use when they no longer need it, it comes to us. Now, our property that we have down there is in good shape. What we always tell everybody when they're retiring an item is, would you put it in your house? Would you purchase it? We don't want stuff coming down there that's not in good shape because we don't want to sell that to anybody. So when you come down there and you get a chair or a desk or a table, then it's going to be in good condition. That may not be perfect. Obviously, it's used. It may have a scratch here and there. But we do make sure that the property that we put out in the warehouse is good property. We do have computers and computer equipment. Now, keep in mind, we don't have as much as what we used to if you're used to coming down there and shopping for computer equipment, because now they've changed the law. It was actually a few years ago. anything that has a memory has to be retired to the State Office of Technology. Now, sometimes we still end up getting what goes to them, but before it comes to us directly, what they do is they get in contact with other state agencies that might need the property. So it's redistributed throughout the state before it comes to surplus. However, we still do receive all computers and computer equipment from elected officials. So we still get a lot of stuff in, just not quite as much as what we used to get in. But you can always call and see what we have in stock before you come down there. We do get commercial equipment on occasion. We get laundry. We get the big washers, the big dryers, anything you need to do laundry, we get that stuff. We get laundry equipment. We also get heavy-duty kitchen equipment. So always check with us if you need anything like that. We get tools. Occasionally we get paint and even more. I mean, we get flower bulbs. As a matter of fact, right now, we are going up every week and we are picking up the tulip bulbs from the Capitol. So if I have any of you guys out there that are interested in tulip bulbs, let us know. What you will need to do is contact Matt Harper and let him know that you're interested. And what we're trying to do, because of COVID, just to let you know, typically we get the flower bulbs, we bring them to surplus, and they give them to us in black bags. Well, obviously, you know, you can't leave it in black bags because they're going to kill them. So we normally spread them out, and we let agencies come in and get what they want and the public. Well, what we're doing this year, because of COVID and not being open to the public, we're just allowing you to contact us, tell us what you want. We will invoice you at $0, and you can get those tulip bulbs. They don't last very long, just to let you know, because we just do that for a few weeks. Once they're gone, they're gone. But we're trying to move on this pretty quick right now because we don't want any of those bulbs to die. We want to make sure that somebody's able to plant them somewhere so that they come up next year. So, like I said, just keep that in mind. If you're interested, you can contact Matt, or if you want to, you can always contact me, and I'll let him know. Now, what I've done here is I have some price comparisons to let you know what we charge versus what you're going to pay retail. Now, for any lateral file cabinets that we get, we charge $25 per drawer. So if you're getting a 5-drawer, it's going to be $125. That easily retails for $825. Often it's going to retail for even more. And like I said, what you get from us is going to be good quality. It may have a little scratch, a little ding, but we're not going to sell it to you if it's broken because we're not allowed to give a warranty or anything like that. So we want you to come in, look at it, make sure that you're satisfied with what you get. Okay, office chairs. We sell our office chairs for $10. Now, the chair on here, as you can see, retails for $90. However, we have chairs that retail for $200, $300, $400 that often you can get for $10. Now, occasionally, if it's a nicer chair, we do price them sometimes at $25. But for the most part, you can come down there and get as many chairs as you want for $10. What we also do, and I'll talk about that here a little bit more in a few minutes, but when you come down there and you buy 3 or more items, then we're going to give you an additional discount. Okay, we get refrigerators. We get them all the time. Now, we don't always necessarily get this type of refrigerator. Sometimes it's just the old white refrigerators. But this one here, as you can see, retails for $900. You could get that down there for $225 when they're in stock. We don't typically have these types, like I said, but the normal white refrigerators that you would see with the freezer in the top, we have those all the time. As a matter of fact, I believe before we closed down due to COVID, we had a couple rows of refrigerators. So if you're in need of anything like that, let us know. Now, they're not always clean when they come from the agencies. We always try to tell them that they need to clean them just to let you know they're not always clean before they come down there. But we do plug them in to make sure that they work. And that's something else too. You know, even though we can't sell anything with a warranty, we do want to make sure that what you get actually works, that operates. So you do have the ability to come down there and plug stuff in, test it out to make sure it's going to do what you want it to do.
Elizabeth, we do have a question. Someone wanting to know if Matt is there today so they can get some bulbs.
Matt is there today. I'm not sure how long he's going to be working, but if they want to go ahead and give him a call, he is there today. I know that he's had a couple of entities that contacted him regarding the bulbs, so I'm not sure if there's any available this week or not, but he would definitely be the one to contact. So, yeah, give him a call. As a matter of fact, just to let you all know, even though all of us aren't working in the office, we do have our phones forwarded. So if you call our numbers and, you know, we're not at our desk, they're going to be forwarded to our cell phones. And I do know that he has his phone forwarded. Okay, and just to let you know, now this price comparison, I thought we got this fixed, but we didn't, and I apologize for that. But conference tables, you know, you can come down there and get a conference table for $100 from us. And as you know, conference tables are very expensive. We've got on here $26.99, but we know that's not the right retail price. But we do frequently get conference tables. We even get the very large conference tables. So if you're in need of one, by all means, give us a call. Of course, it will vary. The price will vary a little bit based on the size of the conference table. The 2-drawer lateral file cabinets, as I was saying before, when it comes to file cabinets, we do it $25 a drawer. So you can get a 2-drawer from us for $50. And as you can see, the retail, depending on the type you get and the quality, ours are obviously good quality. They're heavy duty for the most part, but you're going to pay at least $130, if not more. Now, when it comes to bookshelves, we charge $10 per shelf. So if you get a 3-shelf bookshelf, then it's going to be $30. 5 is going to be, you know, $50. And those retail from, you know, $300 and up, just depending on the type that you get. Our desk, they average at $50. But what we do is if we have a lot of desks, more than what we can put in the warehouse, then we'll put them on sale. So we run sales all the time. We're saying the average desk is $50. You might be able to come down there and get one for $25. I've seen times that we've even sold them for $10. So you never know what we have, you know, if you don't, unless you give us a call. But when we put something on sale, we do try to put it on Facebook. So if you guys are not following us on Facebook, I strongly, strongly encourage you to do that because we do try to have sales. Once we get up and going again, I hope to have a sale at least every week, maybe every couple of weeks. We did do that for a long time. We tried to run weekly specials, and we had a lot of luck with that. Now, the benefits of becoming an eligible organization, which obviously that's why you guys are all tuning in today. You want to know, what can Surplus Property do for me? Well, one thing that we do is we give you the first option to buy. Now, when it comes to stuff like, say, desks and chairs and file cabinets, you know, we get that all the time. So when we get those items, we bring them in the back door, we price them, and we get them out on the floor immediately. But every now and then, we get maybe some specialty items or some stuff that we're not going to get every day. I mean, I'm trying to think of some crazy stuff that we get down there. Well, before I go to crazy stuff, the normal stuff that we would hold for agencies, to give you an idea, is we might get side-by-sides in, we get four-wheelers in, we get riding lawnmowers in. So anything that we get like that, what we're going to do is we're going to hold it for 5 days before we make it available to the public. Now, how are you going to know about it? Well, one thing, if you're in need of something, you're going to get in touch with Matt or me, and you're going to say, hey, Elizabeth, my agency is in dire need of this, or my organization, can you let me know when this comes in? And what we're going to do is we're going to call you, and we're going to give you that 5 days to come down there and purchase before it's made available to the public. You can also place an item on hold for 5 business days. The reason we do that is that if the public comes in and they want to buy something, we make them take it immediately. We don't have room to store stuff for the public, but we will allow you to put it on hold for 5 days. So if you want to send somebody down, maybe it's your person with the P card. You want them to come down, you want them to pay for it, or maybe you even have, say, for example, you have a maintenance person. your maintenance person isn't allowed to carry a P card, but you still want them to be able to come down and shop. You can send them down, they can shop, we can put it on hold, and then somebody can contact us, they can pay, and they can pick up later. Okay, if your person wants to pay and they don't have a truck, they pay and pick up later. If you want them to go ahead and buy, but they don't have a P card, they can put it on hold, and then your person, somebody else can call in and pay for it. So that's a big advantage that you have over the public, is that we will allow you to come in. We have these little cards. You can write your organization's name on it, and then you just go attach it throughout the warehouse. And then you come back and you tell us, I put all those things on hold for my organization. Somebody will be in touch within the next 5 days to pay and to pick up. Now, we're talking about the discount that you can receive. If you purchase 3 items or more, now this is excluding larger items such as vehicles or the riding mowers, things like that I was talking about. But the smaller things, the desk, the file cabinets, maybe you even want binders or something like that. We have binders for 25 cents a piece, by the way, guys, and they're in good shape, because if they're not in good shape, we're not going to keep them. We're going to dispose of them. But if you purchase 3 or more items, then you're going to get a 25% discount. Now, I mentioned just a few minutes ago that you can give us a want list. So if you have items that you want, like I said, by all means, let us know, and we'll be glad to keep an eye out for those things, because we do have 2 ways that we can get the items for you. If you are eligible for federal, then we can also go out and search on a different site. GSA Access is actually what it is, and I'll go into that a little bit more. But we have somebody that can screen the federal site, and then we also have our state people that can look to see what's coming into the state warehouse. So we can let you know when that stuff comes in. Eligibles are also eligible organizations are eligible for specials not available to the public. For example, the tulip bulbs that I'm talking about. If we were offered it to the public, they would have to pay for them. Now, it would be at a reduced price. Last year, I think that there was times we were selling for like 5-10 cents a bulb. But for eligible organizations, you guys can get them for free. We also do things such as furniture giveaways. If we have too many desks, for example, and they're not selling, or say we have a large agency, recently, well, here in the last few years, we've had a few buildings that we've had to shut down for renovation, and they have to send all the stuff to us. So we get all these desks that we can't dispose of, and can't sell to the public, and we get all these chairs that we can't sell to the public. So we'll do furniture giveaways. We'll allow you to come down there, take what you want. What we do is we invoice you, but we invoice you at $0. Now, we haven't done one of those in a while, but we have done a couple of those in the past. And as soon as I fill back up, if I can do it again, then I will gladly do that. You can also request items from online auctions. Now, as I was saying, right now we are using GovDeals. And what you can do is you can follow us on GovDeals, and then if you see something and you're like, oh my gosh, my organization can use that, if you call us when you first see it out there, and if we don't have a lot of bids, then what we can do is we can pull it down and we can sell it to your organization directly. Now, we'll tell you, if this is something that has been out there for a few days, we typically leave items out there for 8 days. But if this is something that has been out there for a few days and we have a lot of bids on it, then we may not pull it down, simply because we want to be fair to our public bidders. If you were someone that had been following this auction for 7 or 8 days and you were in a bid fight here with somebody and you were trying to get the highest bid, you wouldn't want it to be just pulled out from under you at the last minute. So that's why we don't want to do that. We just want to leave it out there if it's already got a lot of bids on it. Okay, guys, moving on to the next screen here. Okay, what we have next is some examples of some of the surplus property that is throughout the state. You look there, you see the Lewis County Board of Education. That is a van that they purchased. I apologize. I don't remember exactly when a lot of this stuff was purchased, but what we've done is we look back at our newsletters and we've seen some of the articles that we have done, and we're just trying to share that with you to let you know what you can get through us. Okay, Clay County Middle School. Clay County Middle School has always been a big supporter of surplus property, and as you can see there, they have furnished their computer labs with computers from us. They have gotten iPads from us, desks, chairs, a lot of different items. Moving on to the next here, you see Kanawha County Schools. They have purchased a few vehicles from us. And to let you know how we do our vehicles, I didn't mention anything about the vehicle pricing. For the most part, what we use now is Kelley Blue Book. So it's actually set in code how we have to price vehicles. So vehicle prices are not negotiable. But if you do see a vehicle that is on our list, what we do is we put our vehicle list out every Thursday, and we usually do it on Thursday afternoon. And the vehicles that you see there are available for sale the following Monday morning. The reason we do that is it allows anybody that wants to look at the vehicle to come in and to look at it on Friday. So there's two things to consider here. If you're a member of the public and you see a vehicle on that list that you want, you need to be there at 8:30 the following Monday morning to make sure that you can get that vehicle. If two people show up at 8:30 on Monday morning wanting the same vehicle, two or more, then it's placed on Gov Deals so that you can bid on it. However, if you're the only person that shows up at 8:30 and somebody else shows up at 8:35 and you told me at 8:30 you want that vehicle, then you're going to get the option of purchasing it. Now, for eligible organizations, if you see that list go up on Thursday and you think, well, I see a vehicle on there I really like, you can call in and talk to us. Cody Rose is the person that you're going to ask for. His last name is Rose, just like the flower. And you're going to say, Cody, I see a vehicle on there that my organization is interested in. Then we can let you look at it, and you can actually buy it prior to that Monday. You can also let Cody know what you're looking for, just like the snowplow that you see here. This is the town of Fayetteville. I can tell you the town of Fayetteville has bought numerous vehicles from us over the years because they stay in touch with us, and they let us know when they're looking for something. So when we get it in, we give them a call, and the city manager is down there, or he sends somebody down there within a day or two. So keep in mind, we will put the vehicle on hold for you until you can get down there to look at it, and we will not let the public purchase it until we know whether or not you want the vehicle. Okay, if you look there, you just see some really nice desks, nice office furniture that the Department of Veterans Assistance has. That came from us. And I want to tell you, my entire office is nothing but surplus furniture. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, we redid our entire building down there. We got a new building. The one that we had was in really bad shape. So we were able to save for years and finally able to purchase a new building. Every bit of furniture that you see in that new building is surplus furniture. The only exception is our conference table, and the only reason that we don't have a surplus conference table is that they're in such high demand that that there wasn't anything available for us, so we had to purchase. However, every chair around that table is surplus furniture or surplus chairs, every bit of it. So we always try to practice what we preach when it comes to that. We always tell everybody, check with surplus before you buy new. We do the very same thing. We do not buy new unless we have to. We always go out and we shop in our warehouse. Now here is some more vehicles that went to a nonprofit. Now, what you're seeing here at the town of Clendenin, this is something a little bit different. The furniture that you're seeing there was actually federal property. Now, I'm going to go into the federal property program in detail here in just a couple of minutes. But just to let you know what we were able to do for the town of Clendenin, when they flooded, we had an email from a federal agency in, I believe it was Bridgeport or Clarksburg, somewhere around in there. They had a lot of furniture. So what we did was we actually went up. We have a box truck. We went up to Bridgeport and we picked up the furniture and we delivered it to the town of Clendenin. Now, we did that at no cost. Typically, there is a small cost associated with furniture or anything, any type of federal property that you get. But because of the dire situation in the town of Clendenin, we were able to waive that fee and we were able to deliver that furniture to them. And just another thing to point out to you also, if you are local and I'm, close to us between Charleston and Dunbar, and you come down there and you see something that you want, then we may possibly be able to help out with delivery to you. If you don't have a way to get it to you, then let us know, and we may possibly be able to do that. Now, keep in mind, I can't deliver to everybody all the time, but if it is a large piece of equipment or something that you don't have the means to transport it to you, then check with us, and we may be able to assist with that. Okay, this is just some more examples of some furniture. And I want to point out, too, if you look here at the picture on the left, those are like the chairs that we have in our conference room up against the wall. Now, the ones that we have at our table actually have wheels on them. But if you look at that, that is the same furniture that you're going to be able to purchase through corrections if you are a state agency. If I have any state agencies listening today, you can call us and check with us, and rather than paying full price, you can come down there and get these vehicles. Get these chairs. Leather chairs, I believe Matt normally prices those at $25. But if you look, you'll see it's a whole lot less expensive than what you're going to pay if you have to purchase new. Okay, how do you check inventory? You're going to visit the warehouse during normal business hours, which, like I said, 8:30 to 4:30. Once we open back up. Now, when we open back up, we may have different hours, and I'm getting a lot of calls regarding when we're going to open back up. I can tell you at this point we don't know, but as soon as we figure something out, we're going to post it out there on our Facebook page. We're going to put it on our website, so you guys keep watching that. And we may even send emails out to all of our eligible organizations to let them know. I'm kind of working on a plan right now to see what I can come up with and to see what they'll let me do. So as soon as I know something, I'll make sure that you guys know. But you can also call the warehouse to see if we have the items in stock. When you call, like I said, you're going to be talking to Matt, or if they transfer you directly into the warehouse, Paula Lowe, she is the person that takes care of the phones out there. And you can also do as I was speaking earlier, you can do a want list. Send me an email. However you want to do it, give us a phone call. I prefer emails. That way we can just print it out and put it in a file, and we know exactly who to call back and exactly what you're looking for. Okay, online auctions. That's the Gov Deals I was talking about. You can go on to govdeals.com, and you're going to see listings from all around the state. There's different ways that you can search. You're not just going to see what's available through surplus property either. You're going to see what's available through other organizations. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the city of Charleston uses that site, and there's a lot of different cities and towns and organizations that use that. So go out there and check just to see what they have, because they do have some pretty interesting stuff that's auctioned off. There is a variety of items, and eligible organizations, like I said, can request that we pull it down so long as it's not been out there too long and it's not near the end of the auction. This is an example of what you're going to see out there on GovDeals. This is actually available right now. Now, this is old technology. It's actually analog, so I'm not even sure that the technology can even be used in the United States anymore. However, we have it out there because, like I said, we do have people from other countries that go out there and check to see what we have available. And the good thing about GovDeals is that they will do marketing for us. So we can actually reach people through them because of their advertising and their marketing that we couldn't really do on our own because we don't always know what the market is. But that's why we like GovDeals so much, is because they do. They assist us with that. Okay, now I'm getting ready to start the federal side. Now, if any of you guys have questions regarding the state side, if you could go ahead and shoot it to me, that would be great. And I will stop what I'm doing and we'll answer those. But if nobody has any questions, then I'm going to go ahead and move on with the federal surplus property side. Now, as I said at the beginning, a lot of people know about the state side. They know they can come down there and they can shop. I will tell you this much. If you have not been down there in the last couple of years, it's nothing like the shopping experience that you had before. Now, when you come in, we do have the beautiful building, a very nice warehouse, very organized, very clean. It's not like when you had to go to the old warehouse that wasn't climate controlled and everything was dusty and dirty simply because we had holes in the side of the warehouse. And it was very, very hard to keep it clean. But now we were able to do that. So it's a much, much nicer shopping experience.
Elizabeth, we did get a question. I just wanted to double check. Does Surplus ever get non-perishable food?
No, we do not. We have not gotten any non-perishable food. If by chance we would, what we would probably do with something like that is we would send an email out to our food banks, anybody that's registered with us. That's how we typically handle specialized stuff such as that. But I have not seen anything since I've been there. I do know, though, occasionally through the federal side, you can get the MREs through them. We just have to watch for them. So if anybody has a need for anything like that, they can let us know. Because to let you guys know what we're wanting to do, we do have another warehouse. And we also have a shed that we're thinking about turning into a warehouse. We're not sure how we're going to go about it. But what I want to do is I want to be able to warehouse federal property. Now, the type of stuff that I'm thinking about warehousing is generators, things like that, that I know would be in big demand. So if you guys have a need for something, let me know, not just so that I can go and, look for it on Access, but also I'd like to know what my eligible organizations would like for me to warehouse. So that if you come down there, you can look and you can shop. Now, I'm not going to warehouse, tiny things like little tool, hammers, things like that, simply because that's hard to inventory. But if you have a need for that, that doesn't mean I won't go and look for it on, of course, on our warehouse to see what we have on the state side, or even look on the federal site to see what they have available. So, like I said, we don't have the food now, but if we get it, that's something we would definitely let the eligible organizations know about before we would ever try to sell anything like that. I don't think we would try to sell it to the public. We would come to the eligible organizations first. Just to let you know how the Federal Surplus Property Program works, just like when a state agency no longer needs anything, it comes to the state surplus warehouse. When a federal agency no longer needs something, what they do is they put it out there as excess. And what that means is that any other federal entity can come in and request those items, kind of like the way we make our stuff available to our state agencies first and other eligible organizations. Well, if no other federal entity wants those items, then it goes down to federal surplus. That's when we can request it and it comes to a federal SAS, or excuse me, a state SAS. A SASP is a state agency for surplus property. So the only way to get federal surplus is through the West Virginia State Agency for Surplus Property. So what they do is they donate the items to the state, and there's no charge. What we have to do is we turn around and we get those items to an eligible organization, what we call our donees. There is a charge, but it's not, you're not buying the item. What you're doing is you're paying the fees to allow the Federal Surplus Property Program to operate, because we don't receive an appropriation, and the General Services Administration of the federal government requires us to charge enough to keep our program going. To give you an idea of what the fees are, I mean, it can vary based on what you're getting. But what we usually tell everybody is it's 10% of the original acquisition cost. So if you get an item that originally cost the federal government $1,000, then you're going to be able to get that item from us or through us for $100. You're not going to own the property, though, until the compliance period's done. And that's on another slide, so I'll go into that here in a minute. But just to let you know, we do charge a fee, but it's just an administrative fee. You are not purchasing the property. The property is made available to those that you see listed there. Basically, it's any of our eligible organizations, with the exception of some nonprofits. It depends on what your nonprofit does. For example, if you are a church and you are operating a daycare, you may be able to get federal property for your daycare, but you're not going to be able to get federal property for your worship services. So that's why you may be eligible for state surplus, but not federal, based on what your business purpose is. So what you will do is when you fill out the application, there's a whole bunch of boxes on the application where you put your type of business. If you can't fit into one of those boxes, then you're probably not going to be eligible for federal property if you have a 501. However, if you're tax supported, then you should be eligible for federal property with no issues. But that's why I always tell everybody, send me your application, let me look at it, see if you're eligible, and then we get back with you and let you know, okay, you're state, federal, or you're both. Now, I just mentioned a fee to you, so we're going to go on to the next slide here. What this is here, this is just some highlights of the program. DNR acquired a boat for $500. They spent $42,000 for upgrades. You can see it right there in the picture. If they would have bought that brand new, it would have cost them $100,000 or more. Now, what we ask you to do, if you have federal property that you want, if we can find it out there, well, I'm going to show you how to screen for property here in a minute. And if you see something you want, what you're going to do is you're going to tell me what you want, but you're also going to tell me what you're going to use the property for. For example, if you look down here at the bottom picture, we see a lot of snowplows in the state. If you see them in their camouflage, guess what? They come through our agency. But what they do is every time they want a snowplow or they want one of these trucks, they send us an email and they say, I want this, and this is going to be used for road clearing. We're going to turn it into a snowplow. And then we put that in the file, and then when GSA comes in and reviews us every 2 to 3 years, they look to see, okay, this is what they wanted it for. It wasn't for anything personal. You can never have a personal need for using it or personal reason for using it. And then they look at it and they say, okay, Surplus did what they were supposed to do. Highways was supposed to use this as a plow, and we've got pictures in the file, and we show them that we did exactly what Highways said they were going to do. Now, if you look up at the top picture, once upon a time, the National Guard had a bunch of generators. Now, I don't think they've continued this program. I believe that they have slowly gotten rid of these generators. But what they did is we were able to bring a bunch of generators into the state, and the National Guard had them in a warehouse. And then if there was a major power outage, then somebody could contact the National Guard, and they would bring one of these to you. Say you had a pump station you needed to keep going if you were a PSD, or say you had a nursing home that didn't have power. The National Guard would bring these out, hook them up, and keep the power going. Here is Humvee that was received by the Kanawha County Ambulance Authority. They can get to a lot of patients that they couldn't get to before in this Humvee. We've also got equipment and storage solutions that went to a local food bank. And I mentioned the 8A program to you earlier. So if you're part of the 8A program, I would definitely make sure you're registered with the Small Business Administration and get in touch with us, and we can help you find some property if you need anything. Okay.
Elizabeth, we do have a question. Someone would like to know how they find out if they're eligible for federal surplus. They did leave their email address if you just want to email them after the webinar.
Absolutely. And to give you another idea, those if you guys want to look out there, I was talking about our application. You can go to WVSurplus.gov, and on the left side of the screen, it'll say Forms. You can click on that, and then you'll see the application for eligibility. When that opens up, there's a whole bunch of different categories that are listed there. So if you fall into one of those categories, then you're probably eligible for federal. It does get a little tricky when it comes to some of the categories, simply because I have to get back in touch with you and tell you, okay, if you're a provider of services to the homeless and needy, for example, you can check that box, but then I'm also going to have documentation that proves that you do actually provide that service. For example, if you're located in a city, then you can have the mayor attach something to your application that says, yes, they provide this service, and then that will satisfy GSA when they come in and they do a review. So yeah, I'll be glad to get back with anybody. I'll answer that email if you want to get that, Courtney. But in the meanwhile, if anybody else has questions, go and look at our application, and that may answer a lot of your questions. Now, I'm going to show you, like I said, how to screen on GSA Access here in just a minute. When I was talking about the compliance, what that means is that until your compliance period is over, you do not own the property. So say, for example, the Humvee that Kanawha County got. Used to be there was a lifetime compliance on Humvees, and it was really difficult to get a Humvee. They've changed that somewhat, but until the compliance period is over, say you get a vehicle through us and you have an 18-month compliance period, you do not have title to that item until the 18 months is up. What does that mean? It means a couple of things. If you get a vehicle through us and there is a compliance period, we're going to put a compliance loan on it. Or excuse me, not a loan, a compliance lien. So what that means is you're not going to be able to sell that vehicle for the first 18 months that you have it. What we do is we do compliance checks, and we will send you an email or a form. Right now, I can tell you, with the way things are going, we're going to be trying to do everything through email, because we're not going to have to want to touch paper any more than we absolutely have to. But we're going to send you an email, and we're going to say, okay, you got this vehicle from us. Where's it located? What are you doing with it? When did you put it in service? Once you tell us when you put it in service, we're going to make sure that you use it for the 18 months. At the end of 18 months, we're going to release that lien, and then you can sell it and do whatever you want to with it. Keep in mind, though, I don't think I have any state agencies. I'm not sure if I have any state agencies listening or not, but if I do, if you get federal property, when the compliance period is up, when you no longer need that property, it still has to come through surplus, because it's still considered state property regardless of how you purchased it, or how you, like I said, it wouldn't be purchased if it was donated to you. It's still going to, anything that you no longer use when you're a state agency, it has to come through surplus property, unless you have a grant that specifies something different, and then you can contact us. I'm not going to bore everybody here with that, because that doesn't apply to everybody, but state agencies should always get in touch with us when it comes to property to see whether or not something has to be disposed of through us. Anyway, most everything that you get is going to just have a 12-month compliance period, unless the original acquisition was $5,000 or more. If that's the case, then you're going to have the 18-month compliance period. After the compliance period is over, you have title to it, and you can do whatever you want. But keep in mind, if you try to sell it before your compliance period is over, then you're selling something that doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the federal government. So that's the only thing that I want to caution everybody about. Make sure you know what your compliance period is, and we'll let you know. That's why we go ahead and put the compliance liens on the title. It's not necessarily that we have to, but it keeps you from messing up and accidentally selling something that you shouldn't, that you didn't really own, and you will get in trouble for that. So we do everything we can to help you out, to let you know what you can do. And as it says here at the bottom, personal or non-use of surplus property is prohibited. You can't get something and not put it in service. If you get a piece of federal property, you have to place it in service within 12 months. If for some reason you get a piece of property and you don't think you can place it into use within 12 months, what you need to do is shoot me an email, and you need to tell me. And actually, Doug Elkins is our federal property manager, so I'm going to throw his name out there too. You would probably be speaking with Doug. And if you go to our website, it'll better tell you who does what, because I know I'm throwing a lot of names out there at you. But what you're going to do is you're going to shoot Doug an email, and you're going to say, hey, this is happening, or I need parts to fix this. I can't get parts within 12 months. It's going to take longer. Then what we will do is we will grant you an extension. The thing is, you have to let us know before the 12 months is up, because if you don't, then you may be required to return the property at your expense. So just let us know what's going on. We're really easy to work with in that respect, but we have to have all the documentation in the file for when GSA comes in and reviews it. Okay, now what sort of property does your organization need? Now I think we're running kind of short on time here. So rather than everybody responding to that, if you guys just want to shoot us an email, or if you want to respond, that's okay. Just let us know what you're looking for, so that we can get better prepared for maybe what we're going to warehouse. That's really important to me. I want to get that warehousing up and going. Okay, at the time of donation, you are going to be given a distribution document to sign. And you're going to have to make your payment before we allow you to pick anything up. We prefer P-card, but you can also make payments in the name of your organization with a check if you want to do that. But your organization that's listed on the check has to match what is on your application. So be sure that if you have numerous funds that you're using, sometimes we run into that with cities, for example, make sure that however you apply, that is what's going to be listed on your check. If you have a P card, then it's not that big of a deal. What we do is sometimes we'll ask for a copy of your card. We do not keep all those numbers, okay? We want you to black everything out. You can black everything out but the last two numbers if you want. And then what we have to do is we have to attach that to your distribution document, so that when we're audited or reviewed, the federal government knows we didn't let you make personal payment for something, that it was indeed an organization and it was an organization payment. You need to make arrangements to pick up the property or to have it transported to you, but I have really good news. We recently purchased a rig, so we are going to try to start picking up federal property for agencies if it's something large. Obviously, if it's something small, then you're going to want to have it shipped to you. But if it's something that needs to be picked up, then I am working on being able to get out and pick up that property for you, which is really exciting because in the past we've not been able to do that. You have to complete an application for eligibility every 3 years or earlier if there's a change in your administration, because your chief executive officer is the one that has to sign the application. We need contact information, the purpose of your organization. It asks for the source of funding. The reason it does that is we want to know if you're tax supported. When it comes to fire departments, they also want, the federal government requires a new application every year. And the reason they do that is because of the way that volunteer fire departments sometimes lose funding. They have to make sure that you're still getting tax dollars in order to qualify for the program. We will also ask for authorized representatives. That is who is eligible to purchase on behalf of your organization. And then we ask that you sign a non-discrimination assurance. The federal government requires that. It's just that it says you don't discriminate against anybody. Here is the contact information for Doug Elkins. As I was saying, you can get your application online. We prefer that you just, if you can, just go ahead and scan it and send it to Doug's email, or you can send it to mine, or you can fax it. You can always drop it by in person, but there's going to be a lot of rule changes, things that we've got to implement once we get up and going. So we're going to do everything we can by scanning, if at all possible, to try to keep us from having to touch too many papers and you guys having to, touch too many papers. Okay, here's just our Facebook information, and you can subscribe to our mailing list. And okay, now before we do, you guys are more than welcome to send questions, but I want to show you something real quick. I want to share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you how to screen for federal property. Now bear with me while I get my stuff up here. There we go. And somebody asked if you could get a copy of the presentation. That's absolutely fine. We can forward this to all the attendees if they would like. And as a matter of fact, Samantha or Courtney may have already planned on doing that. I'm not sure. Okay, what you're going to do when you get to this site, first of all, if you want a federal login, you need to contact Doug Elkins. Like I said, his information is on that screen I just showed you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to log in with my information. When you guys log in, you're not going to be able to request anything. You'll have to do that through the email, like I was saying. So you're not going to hurt anything if you get out here and look around, because it's not going to let you add anything to your cart. So you're going to put your user ID and your password in. You can see what the website is there at the top of the screen. And you're going to click log in. And then when you do, there's all kinds of ways that you can screen for stuff. You can do it by location if you come up here to the advanced search, or you can do it by just what you're looking for. Obviously, if you're going to have to pick something up, you want it to be from a surrounding state. If it's something larger that you want us to pick up, then, we can do that for you, but we're going to have to take transportation costs into consideration and what's it going to cost for us to go pick something up. But let's just go down here. I'm just going to show you real quick. Say you're looking for a boat. Here's one, since it's a surrounding state. Let's see what this one here in Kentucky is. You should see pictures. I know GSA's really, really pushing for all federal organizations to put their pictures out there. If you don't see pictures, then we may need to contact the property custodian, but they're trying their best to get everybody to put pictures out there. So you see some pictures over here. You see right there, you see what is available. It is available only until May 25th. So if you would want to request this vessel, then what you would have to do, you have to request it prior to May 25th, because once it is allocated on that date, then you can't get it. If you look here at the original acquisition cost, this is going to show you a couple of things. It's $111,000. So you're going to see right off the bat that it is going to cost more than $5,000. So there's going to be an 18-month compliance period. Now, I may not have picked the best one to show you all because this one actually says salvage. You're not going to want to request anything that says salvage. You're going to want to request something that says new. Believe it or not, there's a lot of new stuff out there. Probably not boats, but there is a lot of new stuff. You're going to want to see something that says usable or repairable. Those are the type of things you're going to want to request. Now, for example, say you looked at this and you thought, oh, okay, I can get this vote, and you want to request it. When you send this to Doug, he's going to look at it, and he's going to see that it's salvage value only. So he's going to say, hey, that's not something you're going to be able to put into service, so you don't want to request that, but I've looked and I found this other one for you. So the other thing that you want to look at is your location. You can see down here that it is in Kentucky. And if you look on down, there's going to be your point of contact. There's going to be your property custodian. If you have questions about a piece of property, you can contact the property custodian and say, hey, what's wrong with this item? Or, what's the size? Or, whatever questions you might have. And then if we have an item that, say we have numerous organizations interested in, what we're going to do is we're going to contact you and we're going to say, hey, let's surplus, send the questions so that we're not bombarding the custodians with a lot of questions. So as you can see, like I said, it's got the item description at the top. And when you send us an email telling us that you're interested in something, include that item control number, because that's what we're going to reference on everything, and that way we're going to know exactly what you're talking about. Now, what I wanted to show you here, if I can get this thing to move. Okay. When you're in this program, make sure that when you want to go back, don't hit your back arrow up here. It doesn't work. It'll cause you issues. Come here and click the back button, and it'll take us back to where we were before. So that is absolutely all there is to screening property. I will show you that if you look at the advanced search, if you know something that you're wanting, say you do want a boat, you can come over here and you can do the exact phrase or any words. And then any word is going to pull up any boat you want. And if you want to come down here to the bottom, then say you just want to look at what's available in West Virginia and Ohio, then you can search it and you can see what comes up. So let's see. Oh, let's even do this here. Let's do Virginia, all the surrounding states. Search. There you go. There's 2 boats that are available right now. There is, as you can see, there's a John boat in Ohio that's repairable, and a Zodiac boat and trailer in Virginia that's repairable. So that is all you have to do to screen for federal property. And like I said, what you need to do, if you're not eligible with us right now, send us an application and specify. Let Doug know that you do indeed want federal property. That way he knows to go ahead and set you up with a login and a password. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen here, guys. Get back to where I was. There we go. So, guys, that is all that I have for today. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and let me know. And please keep in mind, if you don't want to ask them right now and you want to send them later, that's okay. What we'll do is if we get questions that apply to everybody, then we can send it out to everybody that attended today. We can let you know what the questions are and what the answers are. And if you have any issues whatsoever, if you want to just talk to somebody about the warehouse, what's going on out there, give us a call. Like I said, our phones are forwarded, and we will call you back if we don't can't talk to you immediately. But leave us a message, and we'll gladly get back with you. Okay, Courtney, can you still hear me?
Yes, I did get a couple of questions that were just sent to me. Is there an application for a church to fill out for state?
It is the very same application. What we did is we combined the federal and state, and rather than having different organizations fill out different types of applications, it's the same application for everybody. So the one that you see at WVSurplus.gov is what you're going to fill out. And then you don't have to request state, federal, whatever. You just fill out the application, and then I respond to you and I tell you, okay, this is what you're eligible for. I will tell you that if you're a fire department, that there are a couple other things that I'm going to need from you, but you can go ahead and fill out the application, send it to me, and then I'll let you know. What we have to have is a letter from your county commission that's on our letterhead, but on your letterhead. We have a specific letter that we'll send to you that you know exactly what you need to get to us.
Okay, that looks like the last question that I got just sent to me was, our organization has registered with Surplus in the past. Do we need to renew our registration periodically?
What? You have to renew every 3 years. And to be honest with you, once upon a time, we had a program that would flag it and let us know if somebody was getting ready to expire. And we had a lot of problems with that. However, I just now purchased a new program that's going to track everybody's eligibility. So what you need to do is if you have not applied within the last 3 years, then you need to send us in a new application. Or if you're not sure, you can give us a call and we'll let you know if you're still eligible. But once we get this program up and running, and when I open up here in the next few weeks, we should be good to go. It's going to send out automatic notifications. And it's going to tell you that your application is about to expire within the next 30 days. Please resubmit. So hopefully once we get everybody registered, there won't be any issues anymore, and you'll know exactly what you need to do to register again and when you need to do it. And I'm getting a lot of questions over here about copy of the presentation. A lot of people want it. So that's something that we will definitely send out to everybody. Hey, do we have any more questions before we shut down today? I really appreciate you guys sitting in with me today. I appreciate you bearing with me while I'm doing this from home. Like I said, I was a little bit nervous to do it from home because I am not technical, and I was scared to death I would have a problem. But Samantha and Courtney and her team, they're great, and everything went on just fine. So I appreciate it. Thank you for the compliments, guys. I really appreciate it.
No questions over here, I don't think, so I think we're good to wrap up.
I do believe we are. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, send them to me, and we'll get the answers out to everybody. God bless you guys. Thanks for being with me today. Bye-bye.